Hello. It's been a little while since I've seen you. Hi, welcome back to the kitchen. I think it's been like a year and a little bit since we've done one of these. I think the last time I did a cooking video was like October of 2024. It is now February of 2026. I'm sorry. I was busy. I had a lot going on. You look great though. Like you've been hitting the gym. You look good. You look real good. You look like you've aged well. Anyways, we're back and welcome back. It's really great to see you again, honestly. And one of the things that I have not done in a long time, in addition to not making one of these episodes, is eating cottage cheese. I don't think I've done it in 15 to like 20 years. And that's not an exaggeration. I am 32 years old. And I asked my mom, I called her up and I was like, hey, so like, have I had cottage cheese? And she was like, well, no, I don't think you have. And I was like, well, why not? Well, you didn't really like it as a child. Okay, so I just really have never had it. No, I don't think so. And that was how the conversation went. I can think of exactly one recipe that I've had cottage cheese in the last 15, 20 years. And that was used as a ricotta cheese replacement. So I don't think I have had cottage cheese like on its own or in like a dish where cottage cheese is kind of like the main piece of it and not just like a little ingredient or whatever, in like 15 to 20 years. Now this topic of conversation came up when I was chatting with my live stream audience a while back, and they were flabbergasted that I hadn't had cottage cheese. One thing led to another. We had a lovely little, let's call it spirited debate. And I was like, okay, give me your recipes of how you eat cottage cheese. I will make them for an episode of the cooking show. And here we are. So I have 5 recipes for different ways to eat cottage cheese. And I'm gonna be trying cottage cheese today for the first time in, let's call it 15 years. I'm glad you're here. Let's dive into it. Our first recipe is an incredibly simple one. You basically want to take a bell pepper, you slice it up, and then you put a little cottage cheese on it, sprinkle it with a little bit of everything but the bagel seasoning, and then you drizzle it with a little bit of honey. Kind of like a nice, like, healthy snack. I don't know why, but I'm nervous. I'm nervous for eating cottage cheese. Like, I don't know why. I don't know if it's the curds or what it is, but something has me nervous about this. It's literally food, and I'm nervous about it. And honestly, I like a lot of these things. I love everything but the bagel seasoning. I put it on everything. Honey, delicious. Bell peppers, great. Cottage cheese really is just the question mark today, isn't it? We'll find out. The start of this recipe is pretty simple. Basically, you just want to cut up your bell peppers as you would, almost like if you're going to make like bell pepper strips, but you basically just want to get rid of like the seeds out of them. And then you want to just kind of cut like large sections. So we don't really need anything too complicated or too fancy. Just like a big, oh, that's the sticker. Just like a big section, kind of like this sort of deal, right? Nothing too crazy. We don't need a lot of this, honestly. And I think I'm going to try to save some of this bell pepper because I could use this for something that's not cottage cheese related later on. But yeah, this is basically all you want to do. And just make sure you have all of the seeds and stuff out of here. I'll make one of each color. Might as well have a yellow and an orange. I don't know if that'll make any sort of taste testing difference. Probably not, but I don't know if color will make any sort of difference. It's kind of like Gatorade where it's like, what's your favorite flavor? And you're like, oh, blue. And you're like, okay, well, blue's not a flavor. And you're like, excuse me. Yeah, blue's a flavor, man. Where have you been this entire time? Welcome to the universe. Blue's a flavor. Also, it does feel a little bit sacrilege to not have a green bell pepper, but there weren't any at the store that looked good. All the green bell peppers kind of had a bit of a kind of vibe to them, you know? And I was like, you know, as much fun as I have having my kind of vibes, I'm not really feeling that for my first cooking video back after a lengthy hiatus, let's say. I have been cooking live recently, and that has been super fun to do. And it's kind of gotten me back into like wanting to cook more on camera in general. So if you haven't caught me cooking live, make sure you tune into the old twitch.tvs. And I'm live over there quite a bit, actually. All right, we have our 2 little boats now, and this is actually really easy to do. Basically, all we need to do now is add in the cottage cheese. I'm really nervous for this part of this. I don't even think I've smelled cottage cheese. Like, we know I haven't tasted it, but I don't even think I've smelled it. What does cottage cheese smell like? I don't smell anything. Is this supposed to have a smell? I smell entirely nothing. But yeah, there's a bunch of curds. That's wonderful. I'm nervous. There we go. I don't know how much we're supposed to put in. I'm gonna do like, I don't know, that amount. That seems appropriate. And then we do like this amount in this little boat. Supposedly this is like a good little snack. It seems kind of like it's like reasonably healthy. I know cottage cheese supposedly has like really good, it's a really great source of like protein. And that was kind of like the main part of the discussion that brought up cottage cheese to begin with, was that it is a great source of protein. I was like, you know, that's a true statement. That's just cottage cheese straight from my finger, and it doesn't taste like anything. I taste nothing. So I'm still nervous about this. But there we go. There is our little cottage cheese boats. Now a little bit of everything with bagel seasoning over the top. I actually really do like this stuff, so I will be a little bit, I guess, more liberal with its application because I do like it. It's good. I put this on like avocado toast and stuff. I don't say I put it on everything. All right, there we go. There is that, and then a drizzle of honey over the top as well. We'll do that. There's a little bit of honey, and there's a little bit of honey. You know, it doesn't look half bad, actually. I'm still really nervous about trying this, but it looks honestly phenomenal. Like, if this was like an hors d'oeuvre that was served to me at a party or something, I'd go, one, this is a weird party. Why are you serving cottage cheese at a party? But also, this kind of looks reasonably tasty. So, I guess without further ado, here we go. Oh, God, why am I nervous? I'm so nervous about this. Okay, Jack, buddy, it's cottage cheese. It's not the end of the fucking world. It's just cottage cheese. You can do this. All right, here goes nothing. I'm very nervous for this. First time in 15 years. Cheers. I kind of feel like it doesn't taste like anything. Like I taste the seasoning, I taste the bell pepper, I taste the honey. I feel like I just don't taste the cottage cheese. Is this supposed to taste like something? Because it's not. Okay, well, for comparison's sake, let's try the yellow and just see if that's any different or better, I guess. Yeah, it tastes the exact same. There's no flavor. Am I supposed to taste cottage cheese? I have no idea. I don't taste anything. These aren't half bad, honestly. Like, I like bell pepper. I like the seasoning. I like honey. Like, all of that tastes good. I feel like I should be tasting the cottage cheese, and I'm just not tasting the cottage cheese. So I don't know. It seems interesting. It's an interesting combination. But yeah, there's recipe number one if you want to have it more in like a snack type style of manner. Our second recipe here is going to be a little bit more involved, and I'm making it more involved because I want to challenge myself a little bit here. So recipe number two, there's a thing called, I think they're like, not barnstormers, that's not the right word, like bronstids, or I don't know. I'm going to insert the right term here because I don't remember what it is. But anyways, basically what it is they have these things called duos. Literally, it's two flavors. It is some sort of fruit. I'm going for pineapple this time, mixed with cottage cheese, and it's just those two things mixed together. Now, where I'm trying to get a little bit fancy is I want to try to make a little bit more of like a pineapple kind of syrup in a way, and then we'll drizzle that over the cottage cheese. So to do that, the first thing we need to do is we need 1 cup of our pineapple tidbits. We need a cup of sugar, and then we're going to basically like reduce this and simmer it. I think we got water in there probably too. We're going to reduce this and simmer it for a little while, and then we'll eventually toss it in the food processor. But then we'll have a like thicker, syrupier kind of, you know, pineapple stuff to drizzle over what has kind of been a, so far, tasteless cottage cheese. Is this supposed to have a taste? Because I'm not tasting anything. I think the fruit is supposed to be like thawed a little bit. Mine is not, because of course it's not. So yeah, we're just kind of going with it. But we need 1 cup of frozen fruit here. Just gonna measure out my 1 cup of sliced pineapple. Oh, that's too much. You know what? It doesn't matter. There we go. We have 1 cup of pineapple. There's that. And then, you know what? I'm actually going to, I'm going to run this over some hot water and just try to like thaw it ever so slightly. Okay, there is our pineapple a little bit more thawed. And then we need 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Grab a spoon here. This is actually a lot of sugar. I might reduce the amount of sugar just because I like to go like a little bit lower sugar with stuff. We'll go a half cup. We'll go half cup of sugar. Maybe I need more sugar than that to like properly, I don't know. I'm literally have never done this before. I'm making this up as I go because that's kind of the best way to, you know, do cooking is make things up as you go. That's the appropriate way, right? I don't know. It's my preferred way. Sure, close enough. pour that in. That is a lot of sugar. And then we need 1/3 of a cup of water. And there is 1/3 of a cup of water. Now we'll put this on the stove here. We'll try to bring it up to a boil and then we'll reduce it to a simmer. And as everything gets softer, we'll eventually want to kind of mash everything together, blend it. But we'll set this aside for now and we'll work on recipe number 3. All right, well, recipe 2 simmers away back behind us. Recipe 3 involves a slightly less burnt piece of toast than I just managed to do there. But this is more like a breakfast style. So say you're like, hey, I love having me some avocado toast. I'm a millennial. You know I love having an avocado toast rather than buying a house. We need to make some toast with our cottage cheese. So we will take our slice of toast and then we will be putting half of an avocado onto it. So let's get our avocado part here. I feel like this is where I would have wanted to add the everything but the bagel seasoning from the first recipe. But this one uses some chili, not chili crunch, but chili oil. I have chili crunch, we're gonna go with that. As well as reintroducing the honey again. Honey and cottage cheese seems to be a really popular combination of the two things. So really, really common flavor combo, I guess. So we just wanna smash this into our toast here. I always find the best way to do this is like a fork. Just kind of mashes it up nicely. Get a nice even spread going with our avo. Now is when we introduce the old cottage cheese. This ain't no big city cheese, this is the cottage cheese. Don't really know how much. I'm kind of gonna do just like an even coating, I guess. Again, I feel like this should have flavor and it hasn't had flavor so far, so I don't know. I'm confused here. It says chili oil, not like the full chili crunch, so I'm gonna see if I can just get a little bit of the oil off the top here without getting too much of the actual crunch. And we'll just do a little drizzle of the oil across the top here. Should add some nice spiciness to us, honestly. I feel like cottage cheese so far is just an additive that you can just like add to stuff. It never actually is the main character. It's very much like B-plot character energy. It is not the main character in and of itself. So far, that's the taste profile I'm getting. A little bit of honey drizzled over the top here as well. And then that will kind of top off our dish, which honestly, this looks fantastic, minus the very burnt piece of toast, but you know, we work with what we got. And it is sourdough, which is my favorite type of bread. But yeah, it doesn't look half bad, honestly. It looks quite tasty, I must say. Like, tell me that doesn't look good. That looks delicious. All right, let's give the breakfast version of this a try here. I taste the avocado. I taste the spiciness. I taste the honey. I taste the bread. I don't taste the cottage cheese. I'm so confused. Like, this is supposed to have flavor, right? Like, there's supposed to be a distinct cottage cheese taste to this, right? Or am I confused? Is cottage cheese just flavorless? Like, the only, like, it's not even a flavor. It's cold texture. That's literally all I feel out of this. I can't even say taste. Taste doesn't even seem like the right word. I feel cold texture. I taste a lot of the other stuff, but I feel cold texture from the cottage cheese. I mean, hey, like I could eat this. Be an easy way to increase, you know, protein intake if that's what you're after with this. But yeah, honestly, not bad. The chili crunch really is nice. I do like the chili oil. Well, not chili crunch, chili oil. I do like the chili oil. It does add a nice little zing to it with the spiciness. But yeah, this is interesting. This is the second recipe that I've eaten, third one we've worked on, and I still can't tell you if I actually like cottage cheese or not yet. I don't know. I don't really know if I like this or not yet. I'm eating it, so like, you know, I just don't know yet. There's Lucy here in this. Lucy! Yeah, I don't know. This has been very tasty. It's a lovely little snack that I needed. Honestly, this is better than the bell peppers. The bell peppers are great, don't get me wrong. I love like a good stuffed bell pepper, but I don't know. The bell pepper with the cottage cheese, it was missing something, you know? And I think the avocado and the chili oil kind of add like those missing things, and the toast is a better crunch than the bell pepper was. Not that they're really recipes to be compared, but I prefer this to the first one, honestly, if I was ranking them. Interesting. With our sugar and pineapples basically done, this doesn't quite look like what I think it was supposed to look like, but you know, it's my first time trying to make a syrup here. I am going to pull this off the heat, and we're going to let it cool for a couple of minutes before we put it eventually into our food processor. Now this one just attaches to my immersion blender, which is really handy, and just does that kind of thing. I figured this would be the easiest way to kind of like blend this up into a bit more of like a slurry. I also theoretically could use just the immersion blender part of it. Maybe that's actually a better idea. Let's save this for recipe number 4. And let's actually use this cup here and the actual immersion blender piece to kind of like blend this into more of like a syrupy kind of mess. All right, now this is hot, but hopefully it's not gonna like break this. If it breaks it, then it's nice knowing y'all. Hopefully it doesn't. This is hot sugar water and fruit. So this is plastic. We'll see how this goes. But there we go. Let's see if we can blend this up a little bit here. You know, it smells like a syrup, so I'm gonna say this is probably heading in the right direction here. That is nice and thick and gooey like a syrup. So maybe now we just let this kind of like chill out for a moment. And I literally mean that. I'm gonna put this in the freezer and try to cool it down a little bit more rapidly than just sitting at room temperature would do. Because I'm assuming we don't want hot pineapple syrup all over the top of our cold cottage cheese. I don't think that would taste exceptionally well together. So let's go ahead and throw this in the freezer for like 5 minutes and we'll come back to it. There we go. While our pineapple is hanging out in the freezer to cool down a little bit, we're gonna move on to the next recipe. I know we're kind of jumping around recipes here. They take time. We'll work with it. And this one, the next 2 actually, are a bit more like cottage cheese as an ingredient versus cottage cheese more of like on its own, you know? So we're doing cottage cheese mac and cheese. Pretty straightforward. I'm using a box of Annie's because it's the best. I've already got the noodles cooking behind me, so we don't need the box anymore. Basically what we need is we need our food processor here. And I believe we need, what is the serving size in this? I think it's like a half cup. We need basically a half cup of cottage cheese. I'm gonna eyeball dry all this because all my stuff is dirty already, so let's just put some cottage cheese in here. I don't exactly know what half a cup is. We're gonna go with, I don't know, that seems like a healthy enough amount. There we go, we'll do that. And then supposedly, you just take the seasoning packet, which I cannot open, there we go. And you just dump the cheese seasoning packet in with the cottage cheese. So like how you're making normal box mac, you would normally do butter and milk, which we are gonna put a splash of milk in this just to help it blend a little bit. But normally where you would do the butter and everything, you can just basically replace it with the cottage cheese. So we'll do a little splash of milk in here to help kind of just blend together. And basically we're making our own like cottage cheese sauce, I guess, in a way. This feels very strange to me. This feels like a very foreign concept. I don't know about all this, but we're trying stuff. Is it gonna be cursed? Maybe. Maybe. That's a high likelihood. But let's blend it. All right, I think that's pretty well blended. Let's take a look at this. See here and see what it looks like. And that just looks like a cheese sauce. Kind of looks like cheese saucy. It's a thick cheese sauce. So what we're gonna do is once our noodles are ready, we will combine these two and heat it back up and we'll just see how it goes, I guess. All right, with our noodles all done and ready, we're going to combine our cottage cheese sauce with our noodles and we'll just heat this back up on the stove here. I really don't know how this is going to taste. Does this come out? Oh, that does come out. Good. That makes it easier. I don't know why, but this doesn't seem like it looks like mac and cheese. Like it absolutely does look like mac and cheese, but the idea of hot, warmed up cottage cheese just doesn't sound appealing. I don't know. I've had 2 of these recipes now. I'm working on the 3rd, and I feel like I haven't been brought around to liking cottage cheese yet. I still feel indifferent towards it. Like I feel like I have this like natural hesitancy towards it, and I don't know where that comes from. But I feel like right now I'm still just like I don't know about all this, you know? Maybe sometimes it just kind of be like that, you know? All right, this definitely smells like mac and cheese. Let's plate it up, I guess, and we'll have a little taste test. I'm quite nervous about this, if I'm honest. But okay, there we go. Cottage cheese mac and cheese. Smells like mac and cheese. Smells delicious. Let's give it a little taste test here. It almost tastes like it's like missing a little bit of flavor. Like there's there you can taste the cheese sauce that you would normally get in like a box of Annie's or whatever instant mac you use. But I feel like it's missing just a little bit of like the zing that you would normally get in mac and cheese. Sometimes with instant mac, what I'll do is I'll just shred just like a little bit of fresh cheddar and I'll toss that in as well, just kind of add a little bit more thickness, a little cheesiness in there. But yeah, overall, this isn't bad. I think I've had a prejudice against cottage cheese without having a good reason why. I still feel like I have it. Still feel like I'm not fully convinced, but like as an ingredient, if you're trying to add it into things to get more protein, it really does make a lot of sense. It just, you wouldn't normally think about it. Like when you're making boxed mac and cheese, your first thought isn't, all right, let me grab the blender and cottage cheese. Like that's not your first thought when you go to make mac and cheese. What are your thoughts so far? Because I feel super mixed on all of this. I mean, this is good. This is mac and cheese. This is objectively delicious. But I know that there's cottage cheese in here, and that's throwing me. I feel like that's influencing my decision here. I'm still eating it. It still tastes good. Like if you serve this to me and I didn't know, I'd be like, oh, yeah, boxed mac and cheese. Sure, man, why not? Huh. Okay, this has been chilling out in here for quite a while now. It's not like completely cooled, but it's most of the way cooled. So, all we do for this one, if we remember back to this is recipe number 2. Now we're doing it as the fourth one. Fourth one? Fourth one. We just take a little cottage cheese, put it right into our bowl, and we set it down there. And we just put a little bit of our pineapple into here. This did actually come out pretty good. I did make a decent syrup, it seems like. So let's kind of put some syrup on top. Because I figure it's called a breakstone doubles. I figure, you know, a breakstone double, it's a store-bought thing. Like it's going to have more sugar. It's going to be maybe a little more processed. So doing my own kind of like pineapple sugar kind of makes sense, right? Kind of makes it maybe a little bit more artificially. We're going to just mix this up. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but that's exactly what I'm going to do. And then I guess we just try this. Now the sugar itself is delicious because of course it is. It's pineapple and sugar. Of course that's tasty. But now we add in the ingredient of cottage cheese. I don't know, maybe I'm just biased, but let's give this a try here. Again, I'm just tasting the pineapple. I don't taste any cottage cheese whatsoever. I feel like I need to try cottage cheese on its own to see if it has a flavor. Because I don't think I've actually had just the straight stuff straight up. But, I mean, this is good. I think it's good because I made a homemade syrup, but... yeah, so there's a homemade breakstone double dupe, essentially. Yeah, that exists now. The last recipe that we're going to do is a bit more involved. We are going to be making pancakes, but using cottage cheese. So basically it's the same recipe you would normally make for pancakes. I took the recipe that I found and I cut it in half already just because I didn't want to make a ton of pancakes. I'm not wasting a ton of food if I don't end up liking them. So yeah, it's just pancakes, but with cottage cheese. I don't know about all this. This really seemed interesting to me. I don't know. Call me skeptical. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what to think. Someone tell me what to think, please. I don't know. I can't make up my own mind. I'm starting to think that like nobody actually likes cottage cheese because there is no flavor to cottage cheese. So like people were like, oh man, you can really taste it. They're just trying to sell you something. I don't know what it is. They're trying to sell you something. Big cottage cheese has its little tendrils in all of us, I guess. I don't know. I feel like so far most of this video is just a whole lot of I don't know and I'm not sure, which is a very unsatisfying conclusion. Why are you here? Why are you watching this? Oh my goodness. This is a pretty easy recipe to make overall. You need 2 eggs. I took the recipe and I cut it in half like I said. 2 eggs. We need half a cup of all-purpose flour. If you want to make these a bit more protein heavy, I guess you could make them into like protein pancakes as well and add that as an element. I don't know where or how, but good luck. There's our half cup of flour. We need 1 tablespoon of sugar again. Toss that in there. Half a tablespoon of baking powder that I'm currently spilling everywhere, so this is going super well. Yeah, sure, let's call that half. Half a tablespoon of baking powder. I'm making a mess. Okay, baking's going really well. I do actually want to try more baking. I did make a little like mug recipe chocolate cake last night. Didn't film any of it, but it turned out actually delicious. So I think maybe the next episode will be like some mug recipes. I don't know. Comment your favorite below, and maybe I'll include it in the next episode. And then I forgot to have it out earlier, but we do need half a teaspoon of vanilla extract just to add a bit more flavor and depth to all of this. And there is half a teaspoon. And now we go full Devo on it. I used to make homemade waffles all the time. My dad, growing up, always made lots of really good waffles. So I feel like I could, if I adapted this into like a waffle dish, that could end up being like really, really good. But yeah, just gotta make this into, I feel like this is supposed to be more of like, less of a dough and more of a, an actual like thing. Why does this whisk always suck? This whisk is always terrible. It just grabs everything and doesn't actually mix anything. I feel like I need a better whisk. This whisk sucks. This is so bad. Why is it doing this? Why do you do this to me, you stupid whisk? Okay, well that's gone. That's gone terribly. I am running out of spoons, both like literally and metaphorically right now, with this whisk. I'm trying to make pancakes. This does not look like pancake batter. This looks like a dough. Am I missing something? Oh my god, the cottage cheese. Fuck, I am missing something. Oh my god. Yeah, okay, it'd probably help if I added cottage cheese in here. Yeah, that's probably the missing thing. No wonder this isn't working. The entire point of the video, Dak. Cottage cheese. I mean, 3/4 of a cup of it. No wonder this wasn't mixing well. How's it gonna mix well if I don't have the essential ingredient, the entire point of the video? I swear. I am my own worst enemy sometimes. Close enough, 3/4 of a cup. Okay, put that in there. Let's see if that improves this situation at all. Oh my goodness. That'll probably help things. Yeah, there we go. That's maybe feeling a little bit better. I feel like it's also still not quite like mixing, but you know, it's getting there. This doesn't feel like pancake batter as I know it. I feel like pancake batter that I know is a lot more battery and a lot less this, you know? But we work through. We struggle through. We struggle bussing here, but that's okay. We still bussing. Okay, this actually is becoming more of like a pancake type of batter. And it's actually coming out of the whisk a little easier. Nice, okay. We're making progress. Finally progress on something, which, you know, is nice. All right, there we go. Cottage cheese batter kind of produced. Thoughts? This looks like vomit, if I'm honest with you. Yum. Okay, so our pan is warming up, and there was a trick I remember reading about. I say reading about. It was probably a TikTok, let's be honest. So I was perusing a peer-reviewed journal the other day, and I came across a thing where it said you don't actually need to put like oil or butter or any other kinds of like fat down onto the actual pan. Because you know how the first pancake always has like a burnt edge and it always looks terrible? So they say just don't do that. The reason it's doing that is because it's just like collecting all the fat anyways. And so the first one's always, if you don't want a bad first one, just don't put that down, because for every subsequent one that is actually good, it's not actually using any of the fat because the first one soaked it all up. So why do we even need the rest of it, you know? Is that true? I have no idea, but we're gonna try with this today and see if that actually is the case, or if, you know, I was lied to by the internet, which I have been lied to by the internet a lot of different times. I really need to stop being so gullible. Because yeah, I believe the internet sometimes too much, to my own detriment, really. I gotta be better about that. Anyways, let's make some pancakes. I don't really know how big of a scoop to do, so we're just gonna do that scoop and we're just gonna put it down like that. And hope for the best here. Is this actually gonna be a pancake, or is it going to be just a terrible mess of mushness? I guess we will find out. Okay, we have bubbles forming. I think we're just about ready for a flip. I'm gonna wait a couple seconds longer, but I think we're about ready for a flip. And look, that doesn't even stick. See, I put nothing in this pan and it's not sticking. All right, let's go for a flip here. See how I did. Did I do it right? Oh my God, I kind of freaking did it right. Oh, I made a pancake. And see, you don't need anything. It flipped perfectly first time. Now it's a little off the edge there, but whatever. You know, we made a pancake. And I'm kind of crushing it here. I'm not gonna lie. I had zero confidence in myself, let's be honest. Zero confidence, full execution. I feel good. We're gonna make 2 pancakes before we plate everything up, but Yeah, this is going better than I thought it would, if I'm honest. It's been so long since I've cooked on camera, and I don't do a lot of, I guess you could call this baking, but I don't really do a lot of baking. I'm trying to do more baking. I feel like that would be fun to do, because I just don't do enough of it. And I want to learn. Baking's always intimidated me, and I want to get better at it. So I'm thinking we do some more baking here on the channel. So if you want some more baking, like and subscribe and do all the YouTube stuff. All right, let's check on our pancakes. There is one pancake down. Let's get a second one in and going. Use up some more of our batter here. Okay, there we go. We have a full stack of pancakes. These actually look amazing, I'm not gonna lie. Now, I am normally a butter and syrup kind of person when it comes to pancakes and waffles and whatnot. I just realized I don't have any maple syrup, which kind of sucks. But I do have a little bit of butter, which I know this is supposed to be like the healthier way of doing pancakes, and you're not necessarily wanting to do the butter. We are gonna do the butter, and it is sliding off of there. Hang on, you don't slide off yet. And a little bit of honey. Maybe we can put some honey down to slow it down. Slow down. Just look at that. It looks so dang good. Oh my goodness. Yes, this looks absolutely incredible. I'm very excited to try this. Purely based off like the smell and the like appetizingness, I don't think that's a word, of the dish, this actually seems like the best one that we've made today. But let's do a little cross section, just see if all of this actually got cooked all the way. I feel like pancakes are pretty easy, but like at the same time, I'm nervous using the cottage cheese with these. So let's see, what does our cross section look like? Oh, those actually look incredible. Are you kidding me? Oh yeah, this is like a cake. This actually looks fantastic. These are really fluffy pancakes, so I'm actually so surprised. All right, cottage cheese pancakes. Tastes like a pancake, man. It's definitely missing the maple syrup aspect of it, but like, again, I think with cottage cheese being cooked into things, it like on its own, it doesn't seem to have a lot of flavor. So like cooked into things, I don't think it's gonna have a lot of flavor either. So you just don't notice it, but that makes these a little bit better for you, a little bit higher protein, I guess. Yeah, that tastes like pancakes. That's delicious. This is incredible. That's actually super good. Super, super tasty. So yeah, cottage cheese. On its own, I don't know about its viability. It's something I'm gonna really include in my diet a whole lot. It doesn't seem to have much flavor. You know what, here, let me give it a fair shake. Let me try the straight stuff, straight up, and just have like an actual taste, just straight up cottage cheese. Nothing else in it, just the straight stuff, straight up. There's a spoonful. Okay, now I can finally taste the flavor of cottage cheese. It exists. That's my big reveal of it all. 15 years, waited this long to try it and have it. Was it worth the wait? Not really. It's cottage cheese. It's definitely an ingredient, certainly one of them. Out of all the ingredients that exist, it is absolutely one of them. Is it gonna be one that I seek out as like a snack, kind of in the earlier recipes? Probably not. Probably not gonna be seeking it out in that way. But holy crap, does it make some damn good pancakes. So yeah, I guess that's the main takeaway of this video is cottage cheese exists and pancakes are awesome. I'm really breaking the internet here. So yeah, I'm gonna go eat my pancakes. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining me. Holy crap, even with just honey, these are amazing. Oh, pancakes.